I have said this many, many times, and yet I feel like it's never really been understood. I've said this since before Charlie Kirk was shot, that Charlie Kirk is one of the most influential conservative figures in the world. That his influence is greater than I think many of you realize. That, like, even beyond the internet, this guy is immensely, immensely famous. His influence is the most felt offline, not on the internet. And people didn't usually believe me. They'd be like, yeah, he's just an internet dude. He's just an internet dude. Most people don't know who Charlie Kirk is. And it's like, well, sure. Most people don't know who Charlie Kirk is. But a staggering amount of people did. His fan base was huge. Enormous. And that right there is why I want to talk about what we're about to see. I want to show you just how true this is. Because today was Charlie Kirk's memorial / funeral event. And I think you guys can probably imagine how much of a cringe fest this was, but you're probably not imagining enough. It was worse than you think, I promise you. David Pakman summarized it in a tweet that came out about a minute ago pretty well, I'd say. The Charlie Kirk funeral is absolutely disgusting, riddled with speeches that only dial up the temperature. Stephen Miller's was particularly vile. And if you want to get a look at what he's talking about here, like what kind of an event this was, here's one of the opening speakers at Charlie Kirk's funeral / political speaking event, where his widow, Erica Trump, came out on stage. This was her, unveiling herself, coming out to speak to the public. So here's her entrance, by the way, and we're going to get a nice long panning of how packed with Charlie Kirk fans this place is. Good God. I like how they got the ballistic glass there, but she's standing out in the open. She's showing her strength and her faith that God will protect her. It's beautiful. Oh yeah, guys, the reaction to this, particularly to Charlie Kirk's wife, has been so goddamn cringe. She has tugged on the heartstrings of America and made them mourn a fascist as if he was Mr. Rogers. It's wild. It sounds like, this looks like a mega church service. I love how white that crowd is, by the way. Like, seriously, like, scan that crowd and try to find a brown person. I'm still looking. I'm sure there's one, right? God, that crowd. Okay, dog. Okay, my man, my brothers in Christ. Look how white that crowd is! Holy shit! I actually don't see. No, okay, hold on. There's Waldo. There's Waldo. Oh, fuck. Yeah, bottom right corner, there's Waldo. We did it. Okay, I'm not the only one. Alright. I promise you I'm not saying this just because she's Charlie Kirk's wife or whatever. Her eyes look like that of a snake, right? Actually, she's literally like, her tongue, she's licking the air right now like a snake. Is she a reptile person? Because, like, listen, when I imagine what, like, a reptile person looks like when they're in their human form, this is kind of what I'm imagining, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah.
Hello?
So yeah, that was her intro. That was her intro onto the stage, blaring fireworks and everything. People are commenting with some of the funniest memes you've ever seen. Erica is coming. That's right, Democrats. Be afraid. Erica is coming. Do not come. Now, the reaction to this event has been overwhelming. Like, Twitter is ablaze with conversation about this. But before we get into exactly that, I want to show you guys the clip that kind of blew this event up. Like, obviously the event was already big, but there was one clip from Charlie Kirk's wife's speech that just has gone unbelievably viral. Unbelievably viral. As you can imagine, there were a lot of moments of prayer at this event. It was super cringe, hyper-religious. But this particular segment is what has gone viral from this event, and is what everyone is talking about right now.
That young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Was this aired on national television? Yes, it was, yeah. Who? The young man she's talking about that she forgives is the shooter. This is what all the conservatives are cheering her for and calling her a hero for. She says Jesus would want her to forgive the shooter, and so she does. And it's like, you could see this as like one of the most sincere, beautiful moments ever, like what most people online seem to be reacting with. To me, this just this just feels like a scene out of The Boys. Like, I can absolutely imagine, like, the scene before and after this one being, like, ripped straight out of The Boys, where it's like, you get out there, and you get those crocodile tears going, and you get that crowd of retards cheering. You know, if you've ever watched The Boys, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, this feels like the kind of thing Vought would make one of their superheroes do at the threat of, like, killing their kids or something like that. Like, now you work for us. This is brainwashing? Like, you could argue, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of meant to brainwash America by pulling on their heartstrings. Also, assuming that wasn't, like, performative, and that was genuine, God, I am so glad I'm not a Christian, and that I'm not, like, I don't put pressure on myself to forgive people who've done the most heinous things to others or to me. Like, you could really tell, assuming she's being genuine, she did not want to say that it hurt her to say, I forgive him, and probably doesn't even really believe it, or actually feel that way. It's just like, as a good Christian, you're supposed to say you forgive, you turn the other cheek, hate the sinner, or hate the sin, not the sinner. But it's like, God, that is not, that's just not how humans mentally think, you know? Like, this woman's been widowed at, like, what, 28 years old, 30, something like that, somewhere in that range. Like, I promise you, she is not actually forgiving of that guy. Like, no one could be. It's sincere to an extent, to a real extent. I hope it's real. I mean, I do think it's gotta be, right? Like, there's gotta be, like, a fair amount. She's older than him, 35. Charlie Kirk, my man. So yeah, no, like, like, I definitely think there's a legitimate aspect to the sadness, but she's definitely cranking it up and using the real sadness to fuel this act, I think. That's kind of the vibe I get.
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
God. The fucking cringe. Ugh. For people who aren't Christian, and don't know, by the way, a little bit of Christianity lore. Basically, at the point where Jesus was crucified and killed, and then, resurrected and assumed into heaven, presumably, I think that's, like, pretty immediately what he does. Jesus, more or less says, I forgive humanity for what they did to me, the Son of God. And from that moment onward, humanity is sort of saved and forgiven for all of its past sins. And from that time onward, the idea is that, like, a good Christian asks Jesus for forgiveness, and he sort of encourages you to do the same, because you should be Christ-like in order to gain his favor and love. And I guess the idea is that, like, all of your horrific acts are both forgiven, and all those that are horrific acts done against you are expected to be forgiven. And I just don't like that kind of shit. Not quite what the Bible story is, if I recall correctly, but close enough for this. Yeah, I don't want to stay on it for too long in Stunlock, because I'll talk about it for too long. So just, for all intents and purposes, she's doing this whole, like, I hope Christ our Savior forgives him. I forgive him. Christ encourages us to forgive. It's like, okay, man, come on. Come on. Anyway, on top of that, you've got... This all happened in Glendale, Arizona, I believe was the town where this event happened, the Charlie Kirk funeral. Apparently, the crowd wasn't just inside the building. The crowd went on for like a couple blocks outside the building, and was like a sort of like tailgated kind of event type deal. And the streets outside for blocks looked like this after the event ended. Like, they filled out an entire NFL stadium and the parking lot and the road around it and left it looking like this. Yeah. Fucking crazy, bro. Yeah, classy folks, huh? But it also goes to show, like, damn, Charlie Kirk is genuinely a massive figure. And even before all of this, he was. And with his death, this has morphed into their Reichstag fire. It's exactly what they are lumping onto, hampering onto to complain about. And make it their new wedge issue. Like, the left is pro-violence, despite them constantly turning up the heat on the violence. Speaking of, by the way, here's a video of Charlie Kirk's body apparently arriving in... Guys, I don't think you realize. It's 2025 in America. The right-wing grifter is the most valuable asset to our society now. When a right-wing grifter dies, the whole country needs to go into mourning, and then literally, as Trump demanded, all American flags must fly at half-mast. When we talk about, like, the level of platform the left and right have these days, it's like, right now, I worry that any day now, I might get thrown in prison for being left-wing and talking about my beliefs on a YouTube channel. And meanwhile, like, the right-wing chuds, when they die, the country, Trump will organize a like, military-style funeral for them. It's like, yeah, and your tax dollars are paying for this. It's like, if you think the left and the right are even close to the same level in platform, this should really put this into perspective for all of you on, like, how much work we have to do. Like, the right built this. They built this level of fame and success, that losing one of their own would be this big of a deal, right? And that is how they won these elections, how they've won all this power. And the left needs to build something that's this big, you know? Like, I remember when Michael Brooks died, it wasn't an assassination or anything like that, but it was still a young political commentator on the left who was pretty well known who passed away. There was no, like, there was nothing like this when that happened, you know? Like, it just, we got work to do. Bullshit, true, and agreed upon. It gets even weirder, by the way, because we have the response that a lot of people have been having. Here are just some random people's responses that have gone a little bit viral. A lot of these people are conservatives. Some of them are normal people. Erica Kirk, we didn't see violence. She's right. We didn't riot. We prayed. We are different. This is a conservative, basically saying that, like, the right hasn't violently responded to Charlie Kirk's killing, and that's what sets them apart from the left. I think this has been edited. Yeah, this was edited. I believe before it said Democrats heed this warning or something like that. What was it before? She's right, we're afraid. Huh. I don't know why the original version shows is the same, but I swear it said, heed this warning, Democrats, or something like that. Might have just made that up in my head, though. Who knows? The reaction, though, has been overwhelming, and people are now, like, basically talking about Erica Kirk in her speech like it's the most beautiful, moving thing they've ever seen. Erica Kirk publicly declaring she forgives the person who murdered her husband is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. Like, what else do we have? There was this other, like, really cringe tweet I saw. I hope, yeah, here it is. Oh my god. I hope to one day be half the woman that Erica Kirk is. Oh, man, dude. Oh, man. Oh. That's a rough one to read. Anyway, guys. This event is no doubt going to be talked about for the next couple of days. It's going to be talked about for the next couple of days for sure. And I have no doubt the left is going to have its response. The right is going to have its counter response. There's going to be a lot of arguing over how many of the speeches came off as Nazi speeches, no doubt. So be ready for it. And just know that you can always come to your best favorite streamer, Xander, for the most reliable updates on any of this sort of situation. If we get any more information, any new stuff worth talking about, you can come to me. You know we'll be talking about it. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, enjoyable in any way whatsoever and want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon, as well as leave a like and a comment. In fact, if you got this far in the video, comment down below, emu. Just so I know you got this far. That's the code word. Even if you don't know what else to say, just comment emu so I know that you got this far. That's the code word. Or code word. And of course, if you want to see more from me in the future, follow my social medias linked down below in the description. And if you want to be a part of the main hub of my community, be sure to join my fan Discord. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xanderhall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xanderhall merch through the Streamlabs link down below.